Marcus Robert Johnson here. I would like to talk about King Kong Ortiz and Michael Johnson. King Kong Ortiz is a heavyweight boxer, an awesome one at that. Michael Johnson is a MMA fighter in the UFC, an awesome one at that. Now, I want to talk about why the main casual audience may not know about these guys, or maybe even why do these guys not get title shots yet, or why do these guys not have the success that other fighters in their weight class and in their sport do? And there's different things that will add up to the money you're able to make, the fights you're able to get, the channels you're able to fight on. All these things are different for each individual and for each fighter. But why do some fighters go further than others? And I'll start with Michael Johnson. I'll say, and I'm going to use these guys as an example to explain why you could be a great fighter and maybe you won't be as successful or make the money that you should be or could be. And it all comes down to why you look at Michael Johnson. He's on a win streak. He's dominating. Not dominating, but let me say this. Michael Johnson is a great MMA fighter, okay? I believe he fights at the 155. It's lightweight in MMA, I think. And I've watched a lot of his fights. And I haven't watched a lot of his fights on YouTube, and I say that because I've not gone out of my way to look up highlights. Check him out. Really, I've noticed him fighting a few years ago under the undercards of a lot of the pay-per-views I was seeing, or bigger fights on Fox and stuff that I was seeing. And Michael Johnson's always been a guy that's he'll take fights a little short notice. He's always in shape. He comes to fight. And I've literally seen him get a little better each time, too. And he's never had a huge fight. He's never fought a Conor McGregor. He's never fought a Anderson Silva. He's never fought a GSP. He's never fought a Jose Aldo. He's never done that. He's had big fights with Cowboy. I seen he fought tonight. He just fought Melvin Gouliard, and I'll get to him too, because fighters like Melvin Gouliard, what he did, and Malik Scott are reasons that they cannot get to where they are to a degree. But why is Michael Johnson not in a huge spotlight, despite his awesome abilities and despite his winning streak? And the thing with him, and even Big King Kong Ortiz, he's not talking shit. He's not making a spectacle. He's not knocking guys out with one punch early often. I really haven't seen him knock anyone out even. He's not John Jones bones. He's not throwing crazy things. He's a guy that comes to fight, boom, boom, does this stuff by the book, and he does it very well, effectively over. And he's in great shape, and he keeps doing the basics over and over, and he gets wins. And that is kind of a problem for a fighter. As a fighter, you can't just win fights. It's not enough anymore to just win fights. Now you have to put on a show. Now you have to get people interested in tuning in. And it sucks. If you watch the Gouliard fight with Michael Johnson, you watch that, and aside from me, people like me who are fans of his already, people that are already kind of know about him, he's not going to draw a pay-per-view. He fought a guy that ran from him the whole time. Even though Melvin Gouliard is a great fighter, I'm not discrediting his skills. But this fight, he ran pretty much the whole time. It was boring if you're not a guy like me, if you don't love fighting to the death. And it was just unmemorable. So why would anyone buy his pay-per-view? And the thing I want to say too is also that, and this is kind of King Kong Ortiz's problem a little bit, he's having a hard time getting fights. King Kong Ortiz. When you're that good too, like, it's really easy. You can be great, but if you go in there against someone that's just kind of going to run from you, or they're not really in there to win the fight, they're fighting to not be hurt more so than fighting to win, the fight can be really boring. You can make a great fighter look good because you're in a fight. Two guys are fighting. This is a fight. But now if you got one guy that's coming to fight and the other guy is just kind of there to collect his paycheck, or he's just trying not to get hurt, there's no more. You just got a guy that's trying to hit someone, and if you can use footwork and head movement well enough, you shouldn't get hit. And that's a problem as well, especially for King Kong Ortiz, that he's not marketable to a degree because enough people don't know about him. He can't get a big fight with people, big fight like why would Wilder fight him? Why would Fury fight him? Why would Klitschko fight him? He's just as good or not better than those guys. Literally, just as good, if not better, heavyweights. But they can't sell that ticket. People don't know who King Kong Ortiz is outside of boxing. The casual boxing fan might not even know who he is. You know what I mean? And even though he's great, and he can get that knockout, he can work, shows at the fight, people just don't know who he is. And that's all it comes down to. Because he gets in fights with guys like Malik Scott, and then Malik Scott really wasn't even trying to win, just kind of ran from the whole fight. So how does King Kong Ortiz didn't even look good? Because he wasn't in there, he wasn't working. If someone's not punching or bringing a fight to you, you can't make them miss to make them pay to look good. You can't look good at making somebody miss and making them pay if you're forced to only make them pay and they're not even really trying to make you they're only trying to make you miss. So you end up just chasing the guy, or you end up getting desperate, so you start winging, you don't even throw the fine shots no more. And to that, it's very easy, I will say, like, yeah, you get that. Nick Diaz, when he fought Carlos Condit, he should have cut the ring off. He should have cut the cage off. He should have put a little more pressure. He should have done some things. There's things you can do to make sure that doesn't happen, but there's guys that are really good at feet, and sometimes you'll never be able to cut the cage or the ring off. Sometimes you just won't be able to do it because they're really going, you know. I'd say with the Nick Diaz, Carlos Condit, he should have worked harder. I love Diaz. It's my favorite fighter in MMA. But he should have worked harder. He should have really, really cut that off in that case. So back to Michael Johnson. If no one's gonna watch him, even I think he should be fighting for a belt. I think he should have been fighting for a belt already. But the UFC he's not talking shit like Conor McGregor. He's not really loud. He doesn't draw attention to himself. So they are gonna have a hard time selling that pay-per-view, which is why I think he was even more frustrated tonight. Like, he had a guy like Melvin Guerrero who's gonna bring the fight to you. Melvin's gonna bring the fight to you. I was typing him up here talking. He's gonna bring the fight, but he didn't. And he kind of just ran. At first, the first round, I'm thinking, oh, maybe he's just setting it up, being patient, picking it. Second round, oh, I think he's got his time. He got it up. Third round, he just got tired. And you can't do that as a fighter too. Now, if Melvin came in that fight with the full intention of winning it, and he should have just went balls to the wall and tried to KO him immediately, because he wasted everything he had, his energy, his momentum, waiting too long, and it was gone. So I hope I'm stating some of these things effectively, because what I'm trying to say is there's great fighters out there. Some of the best fighters don't even fight for the championship sometimes. And it all comes down to marketing. So don't think because a guy isn't talking shit necessarily, or isn't doing crazy spins, or you know, some fighters out there are just really working, and they're building themselves, and they have to. Some of them have to, like King Kong Ortiz has to, because the great fighters aren't going to fight him because they're looking for a bigger paycheck. The lesser fighters aren't going to fight him because they're not going to get knocked out. So you got to find guys that are kind of that are good. They got kind of a name, but they're not going to make the fight awesome enough to give you a reason to buy King Kong favorite. I'm going to buy it regardless, but everyone else, people that don't know him are not. People that don't know Michael Jackson are not. You don't have to know Conor McGregor, but that name to you hear it and you're like, oh yeah, let's go check that fight. McGregor's fighting? Maybe you've never even seen him fight. Maybe you've never watched MMA. Maybe you've only seen the Conor McGregor fight. You know? That. You want to get that. You want to get that point where people hear your name and they just show up. They don't even know who you are. They might not even watch what you do. People that watch my boxing in my hometown, a lot of them don't even like boxing or don't go out and watch boxing to watch it, but they come and watch me. And I don't necessarily talk shit. They just they know me personally, so they have an attachment, which is why they support me. But if you don't have that, then you got to give people a reason to come see you. You got to talk a little trash, unfortunately, to some degree. Unless you're going to, or be exciting as shit. Be exciting as hell, or talk a lot to match your skill level at the time, so that you're not talking too crazy, but you want to say just enough so that people come and you can live up to the hype that you've created for yourself. So I guess I just wanted to say my whole purpose with this was I was watching Michael Johnson fight, and I know he's great, and he just didn't have someone in there to show how great he is. It takes greatness to show greatness. So if you're fighting someone that's lesser and they're not giving you everything, it's going to be hard to really show how great you are. King Kong Ortiz had that. King Kong Ortiz, if he would have had a knockout, he'd have had a lot more people talking about him. He potentially could have used it to thrust him into a championship bout. Now he might have to do another fight or two even before he can get a championship bout, which is crazy. He's too good. He's getting up there in age, and I hope he can get it soon. I hope he can get it while he's still able to do what he's able to do. So I hope that brings awareness. Check fighters out, man. It's okay for the casual. I guess this video is a little more for fighters, especially the ones that are like me, maybe, or like Michael Johnson. Maybe you don't talk a lot or something. Find a way to be entertaining. Find a way to make people like you. What I do is I just try to meet everybody. I'm trying to be friendly with every person. That's what works for me, and it's working for me right now. I just try to meet as many people. If people need help, I try to help them out. That's what I do. Maybe you can do the same if you don't want to talk shit. I don't talk a lot of shit. I can't really talk shit unless somebody's really talking it to me. But even if they're talking it to me, I just want to fight. I don't want to talk shit. You know what I mean? Like, I want to fight or I want to talk. And I only talk shit to people that I know I can beat up, and I say that because I'm talking shit to them so I don't beat them up, if that makes sense. Like, I would talk shit to somebody, like, dude, just say your weak ass down. Come, like, I get that, or whatever. Like, get away from me. Go on, or whatever. Talk about them. This has gone on. This has gone on too much. Too much. Welcome to Wartown. Please enjoy your stay. Thanks for watching my channel, watching my video. It would do me a huge favor if you share this video or share some of my other ones. If you like it, comment, do all that stuff, because just interact with me. That's how we grow. That's the only way YouTube will let you grow. So like this video if you can. I really appreciate it. Comment down below something silly, something dumb. I don't care. Just be like, I commented there. Now shut up, Johnson. There, Johnson. MRJ, I commented. You're a moron. I'm not doing it again. It's whatever. If you got a video you really like, share it. Pass me around. I appreciate it. War, peace, and love. I'll see you guys later.